Good evening, everyone. It's Richard here, and welcome to tonight's program. And today we're going to be talking about effective team leadership. So, first of all, you are what we're going to talk about here is about how to be a really good team leader. Now, not to be a manager or a boss, but how to be a team leader. And there is a difference. As a team leader, it's down to you to really inspire, empower, and serve your team. So you need to be able to motivate your team and encourage them and provide them with the support that they need to be able to do their job well. There is a process, there's a learning process to go through when anybody new starts with you. They've got to obviously learn about your processes and your business and about what you do, how to do their actual job. This all comes with a period of time, over a period of time. The longer obviously they're working for you, the more familiar they're going to become with what they actually need to do. So as this bedding in period pans out, hopefully they're going to first of all get to know you, get to like you, and then get to trust you. And it'll be the same vice versa as well. So over the period of time, you're going to get to know, like, and trust the people that are working within your business. So be really clear when new people come on board that you are there to come to you. You are there to support them, to answer any questions that they have, and serve them as best as you can. As a team leader, it's down to you to give credit to the team when things go well, and when things aren't going so well, then it's really down to you to take the blame. Make sure that you are readily available for your team, and also when they are talking to you, do make sure that you're paying attention, you're giving them full attention that they deserve, you're listening to what they're saying, you're not on your phone answering messages, taking phone calls, keeping them hanging around. Just make sure that you are giving them your full attention and listening to what they're saying. As the team leader, it's important that you involve them in the business. Okay, so everybody within the business is equally important. We all have crucial roles that we provide to the business. The business is like a machine. It's got lots of moving parts to it, and it's your job to make sure that the machine is working as efficiently as possible, and everybody in the business is a vital part, a vital moving part to the business. So do appreciate that. With any one person missing from the business, things start to run not quite so smoothly, and there can be trouble. So do make sure that you demonstrate what a valuable part everybody is to the business, and share with them your strategic vision. So by that, I mean, hopefully you have plans for the business, you know what you want from your business within the short term, and also with the long term as well. And no doubt you have values. So for us with Awaken to Business, we do have values. We have very clearly defined values. I want to make sure that we are serving our clients as best as we can, and we're providing as much value to our clients with the products and the services that we offer. But I also want to make sure that we are providing the most support and the most value that we can to the people within our team. And within our biggest service is the VaVaVoom service, where we're providing and training virtual assistants in the Philippines. So it's very important within VaVaVoom that we are recruiting, first of all, the very best virtual assistants, and then we're providing them with excellent training and ongoing support if they need it at all. So that's one thing. It's also part of our values is to give back. So we subscribe to Buy One, Give One, which is a global organization that helps small businesses like us contribute to charitable projects around the globe. So we sponsor a project in the Philippines whereby clients bringing business to us, coming to us and signing on to our service. We provide entrepreneurial education to students in the Philippines. So that's again, it's part of our values. It's part of what we do. Share your strategic value, your strategic vision, and what are your company values. And so when it comes to vision, with some companies, some businesses, you may be looking to build a business and scale up and be very dominant within your own particular marketplace. For other people, they may be looking to just develop a lifestyle business, and they actually want to have a business which maybe they're outsourcing to virtual assistants and other people because they want to get their time back to perhaps spend more time with family or with friends or travel the world more. So everybody has their own particular visions. So share what your visions are. What is it you want to do with your business? Where do you want it to be in 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years' time? Make sure that the role fits the person. Sorry, make the role fit the person. So when you take somebody on, obviously you have recruited an individual to fulfill a particular role in the business. As the person starts to bed into the business, you get to know, like, and trust that person, and you can understand after a period what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. So once you start to understand that, don't try and correct the weaknesses, okay? Build on the strengths. So if somebody leans to a particular task, particular types of projects, then build on those and get them to do more of the work that they're good at. And then maybe you reallocate the workload. So the things that they're not so strong at, you allocate to other people that are strong in those particular areas, or you recruit new people into the business. So build on people's strengths and make the role fit the person, not the person fit the role. If you've got a remote team, if you've got remote workers, then you can allow flexible working. So with our virtual assistants in the Philippines, there's an 8-hour time difference. So sometimes that can work in our favor because with some of the virtual assistants, they may have another job. Some of them are running their own businesses locally in the Philippines, got a shop or another business. Some of our virtual assistants have got children, and during the daytime, they actually need to be there for their other responsibilities. But being a virtual assistant for our business based in the UK, there's an 8-hour time difference, so it means that they can actually do their work in the evening, which suits them better. Also, there are other roles such as bookkeeping and people that aren't engaging with customers, perhaps, or suppliers within the UK, that it really doesn't matter when they actually do their work. So you can be totally flexible and allow them to do the work at any time of the day that suits them best. We think of business being a game, so it is a game business, the game of business. There are 2 types of games. There's the infinite game and the finite game. Business is an infinite game. The finite game is a game such as a sport, cricket, rugby, football, something like that, where you've got a fixed team, you've got a fixed set of rules, and the objective of that game is to win. The game of business is an infinite game. So with the game of business, the rules can change at any time, and they will change. The people can change all the time, people coming into the business and going. And the object of the game of business is not to win, but just to keep the game in play as long as possible. As with any game where you've got a team, you should give your team a name. So that's not the name of the business, but the name of the people within the business, the team itself. So we have our team. We are called Vavengers. So come up with a team name that you feel fits well with your particular business and what you're doing. And why not ask your team to come up with that name? And when we say team, it can be a team of 2, or it could be a team of hundreds. But think of allow the team to actually get involved and maybe come up with a team name. Vavengers, I didn't come up with that team name. That was the team themselves. Let your people work their own way. So we all have different ways of achieving things. We all work differently. So don't, as a team leader, it's important that you allow them to work the way that suits them best, rather than you dictating to them how they've got to work. So by doing this is how you empower your team. So by really giving them the freedom. So you need to be very approachable. Invite questions. Questions are great. You know, questions are how people get clarification. If they're unsure about anything, you don't want to have an environment where people are frightened to ask questions because they don't want to be thought that people to think that they're stupid. So, you know, be really, really open. You ask lots of questions and encourage them to ask lots of questions, and don't ask very open questions. So, you know, don't ask leading questions, don't ask closed questions, don't ask questions that that just require a yes or a no answer. Ask good quality questions which actually are designed to enable people to think and to get the most out of them. Invite ideas as well. Encourage your team to come to you with ideas. The you know, the power, that is the power of having teams. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So, you know, encourage people to come to you with ideas, to share ideas. We actually have a process for swapping ideas within Awaken to Business. Encourage them to come with as many ideas as possible. Some of those may be implemented, some may not. And incentivizing. And in fact, we have a scheme also to actually encourage this behavior, to encourage the ideas. When people do their job well, they get points. So the way our system works, every team member starts off the month with 50 points, and then if they do their job well, if they do go beyond the call of duty, then they get points added. If they come up with a great idea, then they get points added, and that idea may not be implemented, but just for putting some thought in and coming up with an idea that we can then bat around, they get points for that. They get points deducted if they're late for a meeting or something like that, or if they miss a deadline, then they will get points deducted. So we have this scheme, and it's all part of a game. It's all part of that game that we're playing. At the end of the month, the person with the we have a first, second, and third prize based on the number of points that they've got, and so they get an extra bonus in their paycheck for that month, based on where they've come, and the person with the least points has to do the point scoring for the next month. So as I say, it's just all a game, but it does encourage people to work well. And the other thing that we do is we publicly celebrate and acknowledge when points are added or taken away. So we use Slack as a group chat service. So when I award points and when I take points away, I put it on the Slack. We have a team Slack channel. I publicly acknowledge it and publicize it there. So again, people know that if they do well, it's going to be shared with everybody. But if they do something that's going to get points taken away, then that's also going to be publicly acknowledged. And when people do well, recognize and compliment. So we're not just talking about the points, but when they do well, you know, if you're in a group team Zoom meeting, acknowledge that publicly and thank them for what they've done. Everybody wants to be told that they've done well. And on this one, lead by example as well. So you will get back what you put out. So if you, for instance, if you show up late for meetings or you cancel meetings at the last minute, then don't be surprised if that's what you get back as well. However, if you're always punctual, if you're always on time, if you're well presented, then that's what you can expect back. So set expectations as well. So have a routine, and the routine may be different with the different team members. So We talked earlier about working hours. So with each team member, you can be flexible with working hours, but understand what those working hours are. So have a routine so that you know with each team member when they're actually going to be working and when they're not. And I actually like to think of 3 sets of working hours. So the first set of working hours are the hours when they're actually doing their work and they're being paid for that time. The second set of working hours are hours when they're not working, but they've got their phone with them. So if you message them quickly with a quick question, then you're going to get a reply. And then the third set of working hours are hours when that's their downtime. So, you know, everybody's got family, got friends, got a private life. This is the time when if you were to send them a message, don't be surprised if you don't get a response because that's their downtime. So agree all of that, agree that up front so that you know and there is an expectation there. Also, sorry, on the routine side, also have agree a weekly team meeting time, which should be at the same time on the same day every week, and that's a Zoom call which everybody jumps on, and that is where you go through all of the things, all of the tasks that each individual is working on. So we'll talk a little bit more detail on that in a second. Create an email address for each of your team members. So don't use their own Gmail or personal email account to communicate. Do make sure that everybody has got their own email address, which is within your own business domain name. That does 2 things. First of all, it demonstrates that you're giving them some value here. So, you know, they're not just casual, somebody that's coming into your business and can go at any moment. They are a permanent part of the team. You have allocated an email address to that person. So that does create that feeling of significance. And also, of course, if they're using their own personal email account for business use, then if they leave your team, then you no longer have access to all of those communications that they've actioned on your behalf. Agree on your availability as well. So what are your working hours? When can they expect to get hold of you? Now, try and be as available as much as possible, but also don't be a slave to technology. Okay, so be available, but don't be checking your phone every 5 minutes. Don't allow people to rob you of your time. So have a time when you do check your messages, when you do check emails and things like this. Allow your team to know that if they need you quickly and they're not getting a response, then they can ring you. And if you're available, then you will take the call. Have an organization chart. So have a chart which clearly defines who the various different people are within your business, whether they're a remote team or whether they're your local team. Who are the various different people? What are their names? What are their contact details? What do they look like? Have a little photograph of them, and maybe also include details of what their availability is. Make sure that you have high standards. So as we said earlier, make sure that you turn up on time, that you don't let people down at the last minute, you don't cancel meetings, you don't cancel appointments, make sure that you're presentable, and just make sure that you are maintaining the standards that you are demanding from your team as well. As we said, hold regular review meetings, so these should be once a week as a minimum. Good communications. First of all, if anything is urgent, if it needs an urgent response, then the phone is the device to be using. So immediately, if you need an immediate answer to an immediate question, then pick up the phone and use it. If it's something that you just want a quick response on, it doesn't have to be right here, right now. It can wait. Can wait half an hour. Then put it on the chat, okay, and then allow somebody to come back on chat. Wherever you can, meet on Zoom. So what I will often do is I will use chat to say, if you're free, can we jump on a Zoom? So the trouble with text messages and with chat messages is that you don't get to see how people are reacting. You can't hear the tone in their voice. So think they can often be misinterpreted. You also don't know what somebody is doing when they receive that message. So they may respond to you quite bluntly, quite quick, just a few words, and you may feel that they're not attaching any importance to this. Well, the reason may be that they've done that because they're in the middle of something else, and that message has come at an inconvenient time, but they want to respond quickly to you, so they just sent out a very brief short message reply. So chats have their place, but wherever you can, meet on Zoom. So I spend most of my time here sat behind the desk, and of course my team, when they're working, they're sat behind their desk. So yeah, if I've got a question, then I will usually just send a Slack message and say, can you meet me on Zoom? Emails, the use of email really is quite limited. So emails are really for anything that's non-urgent or non-important discussions. Okay, people generally don't check their emails. They shouldn't be checking their emails too often, a couple of times a day at the most, really. Also, a lot of emails get missed. Certainly with me, I just scan through my email box, although I do have VAs that manage my emails for me. So I actually very rarely look at emails. I scan through the inbox, and if anything jumps out at me that I think I should read, then I'll read it. But otherwise, often I won't bother. They can also be used for backing up things, of course. If you need to send out documents or invoices, anything like that, then emails are fine for that. Leading your team. So first of all, you really need to be using some software to lead your team, to manage your team. So use Trello. That's a fantastic application for task management. If you scan that QR code there on the right, then that will take you to the Trello website where you can sign up. They've got a free version, which will be fine for you, certainly to start off with. So just use the free version. When delegating tasks to your team, focus on the outcome. Okay, so don't micromanage. Don't tell people the little pigeon steps of how they've got to do everything. Focus on the outcome. So what is the objective of the task? Discuss that. Make sure they understand the objective, and then allow them to work their own way. Make sure that you agree on the completion date. So when does the task actually need to be done by? And be realistic when setting completion dates as well. Don't just automatically just add a week on, oh, I want this done within a week. Think about what's the workload, what else are they working on, what are the priorities, and then allocate a completion date based on that. If you do not keep an eye on what the completion dates are, and you give too much work for somebody to do in too short a period of time, then what will happen is you're going to end up disappointed. And it may be also that they will reprioritize the work based on their understanding and what they think the priority order should be. And it's not, it's what you think the priority order should be. Be very clear and explicit. So as we say, focus on the outcome, be very clear on that. Make sure that they have clarity, that they understand exactly what needs to be achieved. There is a great app for Trello as well. So I would download that to your phone. Keep it on your phone. It's very, very simple. So if I'm out and about and something pops into my head and I think, oh, I need one of my team to do some X, Y, Z, then whip the phone out. Within 10 seconds, you can get on the app, you can raise a card on Trello, stick it there, set the due by date, and there you are, it's done. You can move on, you're not going to forget it. So download that app so that you've always got access to the Trello board. And trust and let go. So once you've agreed the outcome, you've discussed the task, you've given all of the information that they need in one place, you've given them on the Trello board, you've given them the websites that they've got to go to or shared links to documents that they need, given all of that information, you've been clear. Now you can trust and let go. And you don't need to revisit that task now until either they've completed it and they're discussing it with you to sign it off, or if they've got any problems and they need to come back to you. Agree what your processes are. So make sure that within any business, your processes are how you do things. Okay, so the steps that you go through. So I'm not talking about how you do a little task. I'm not talking about, you know, those pigeon steps. What I'm talking about is your process, the action points that you will go through to achieve something. So make sure those processes are documented. So you should have an operations manual which lists out what all of your processes are, and you can get a virtual assistant to write the actual operations manual for you, and then everything is always done the same way, consistently the same way, and that's how you make sure you consistently deliver to your customers the quality that you do. So by making sure that everything is always done the same way, you'll be consistent, and when new people come into the business, then it becomes far much easier to train them if you have everything documented. Make sure you review your team members regularly. So have regular Zoom review meetings. So I do mine first of all when somebody comes new onto the team. They will have a review meeting with me after 3 weeks. So just discuss with them how they're getting on, finding out if they're happy with what they're doing, if they're enjoying the job, if they're getting all the support that they need, if there's anything else that you need to do for them. So just find all that out after 3 weeks, and if necessary, tweak, as I said earlier, make the role fit the person, not the person fit the role. And then every 3 months after that, then I will have a review meeting with them. As we said earlier, make sure that if things go well, then you let the team take the credit and you take the blame when they're not going so well. Trust your decision. Okay, it was you that decided to take the person on. So trust that decision. Now, if for anybody, for any reason, you take somebody on and it's not working well, and you've clearly, you've taken on somebody that doesn't fit into the team for one reason or another, maybe the quality of their work, it may be the dynamic, whatever the reason is, then don't hold on to them. Okay, don't allow one bad apple in your team to spoil the rest of them, because that's what will happen. So you need to make sure that your team are happy, that you've got the right fit of people in your team, and if there's a mismatch, you don't put up with it, you don't live with it. Old weekly team meetings, so we've discussed that one already. So these team meetings, so the weekly team meetings should be done over Zoom. Make sure that it's recorded, and make sure when you record your meetings, don't record them to the Zoom server. You can set up Zoom in the settings to record down to your computer, or better than that, record down to your cloud storage device. So whether it's Dropbox, iCloud, OneDrive, whatever it is, you make sure the meetings get recorded down to there, and then everybody's got access to that shared folder, and anybody can go back and review those meetings at a later date. Use Trello as your agenda, so you can just talk through all of the tasks that everybody is working on individually, and then answer any questions. If you're discussing new tasks, you can set all the details on there, agree the due by dates, etc. And also any tasks that they've completed, make sure that they leave the card on there so that it gets discussed at the review meeting. And then if you agree that the task is now completed, then you can delete it. Make sure the meeting's fun. Have some banter, have some fun. Try and make it enjoyable, not a challenge. So focus on positives rather than negatives. So obviously not everything's going to be wonderful. There's going to be challenges. So they do need to be discussed, but don't make the meeting, don't make the meeting itself a challenge. Focus on the positives and have some fun. So finally, when there are problems, they need to be dealt with, of course, and there will be problems because there always are. Nothing's happening if there's not problems. But the art is to make sure that you deal with it well. So where you can, start with a positive. Go back to that golden rule at the beginning. Remember that when things go wrong, it's down to you. And investigate what the issues were. So, nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks to themselves, I think I'm going to mess up today. So there is always a reason. So the reason could be that there's a lack of information, or the wrong information, or the person didn't have the knowledge to do what the training and knowledge, the skills to do what needed to be done. Or it could be something personal. It could be that, that person's got something going on in their private life that's meaning that they're finding it hard to concentrate and quite got their eye on the ball. This happens to us all. So try and find out what the reasons are. And then, of course, you know what you're dealing with. So discuss the problems, discuss what the issues were, and then try and come up with a solution, and try and make sure that when you find a solution to a problem, you haven't found a solution that's going to introduce another problem. That's another thing to say there. So find out, work it out, how can it be resolved, and how can it be avoided in the future. So I hope you have enjoyed tonight's program. If you'd like to find out more about Awaken to Business and any of the services that we provide, then please click the banner there on the left. If you would like to book a call with me, a Zoom call with me to discuss anything at all, and like I say, find out more about the services that we provide, or if you're interested in recruiting a virtual assistant, then click on the QR code on the right of the screen. So if you've enjoyed this program, then please do subscribe to the channel, and do also, if you think there's anybody else that that may be benefit from what I'm talking about, then please do share with them as well, and click the bell on the right of the screen, and then you will get notifications when I'm back online. And if I'm back online live, also if I've uploaded any further videos at all. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Oh, one thing I'll just mention also is we're going down to 2 nights a week that I'm doing these. So it will be Monday and Friday, and so I'm going to be back on Monday at 6 o'clock. But have a good weekend, and hopefully I'll see you then. Good night.